Hey, this is David,
This is Chris.
and this is the Realtor Daddy podcast.
Yo, it is episode 6. We are in Point Panic, Kaka'ako. You can see Diamond Head and the high rises that we were talking about. I think that was episode 1, right?
Yeah,
Here in
episode
Ala
one.
Moana Park.
Yeah, we filmed it on Magic Island, almost like we're coming full circle in a little way.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, behind us is all the Howard Hughes buildings, real nice buildings, really cool place. And right behind me, probably to my left of my head, is Diamond Head. There, really cool place.
Yo, so how was this week for you, man? What happened?
Man, it's been a pretty crazy week so far. So I started this new business called Rotography, doing quite a few shoots, and just most recently yesterday, Chris and I had filmed for Jeremy Mateo. So shout out to Jeremy for giving me some business, and definitely check out his new listing too, 91-1040 Kai Kukuma Street in Ocean Point, Eva Beach. Really cool place. I think it just went live today.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took the pictures. Chris did the drone footage and the drone video as well. If you ever need any drone stuff done, Chris is the go-to guy there.
Yeah, I only want to shoot drone now. I mean, I'll do pictures, but drone is so much fun. It's like playing a game and just pressing buttons. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got quite a lot of business the past month of starting. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel super blessed to have that. Like I just started the business, and it's pretty cool. I've been able to do quite a number of projects actually, so it's great. A lot of it is kind of like thanks to Chris for showing me like the behind the scenes stuff of like editing and sort of outsourcing work sometimes. But also shout out to my wife too for pushing me to create the business as well. I think without her encouragement, yeah, I wouldn't be able to have this like extra side hustle too. So it's kind of nice having side income, which is related to real estate too.
Yeah.
So I'm still in the industry, seeing new listings as well, and helping out the fellow realtor with all their real estate media needs.
That's awesome, man. So, what made you decide to start the business?
Well, aside from the encouragement that my wife gave me, I think a lot of it sort of ties back to how expensive it is to live in Hawaii,
Yeah.
you know? And Chris and I talked about this on our first episode. And, truly, I think to make it in Hawaii, 9 to 5 job is definitely important. Yes, you have to have some stable income. But when you have a business, truly the sky is the limit, in terms of how you can scale your business and the income too.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to really do it, because when you're doing a 9 to 5, you're really just trading time for money, and time is the most important asset that we have. We can't get it back after we spend it. So to start a business, it allows you to buy back some of that time, and you can use that time to, do more income producing activities or just spend it with your family.
Yeah.
I think that's super important. And I think especially for Chris and I, because we have really young babies, like we want to make sure we're there for them with every moment, every milestone, so
Yeah.
if we're working 9 to 5s, we can't be doing that, right? But having a business, being realtors, being entrepreneurs, we're able to have some flexibility with our schedule and be there for our kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely working from home is a plus.
Yeah.
And definitely just hopping on what David said, like you need multiple streams of income, especially in Hawaii. Even if you work a normal job, a lot of people have 2, 3 jobs,
Yeah.
and they're trying to just make it here and survive because
Yeah.
it's so expensive.
Absolutely, man. Just to kind of touch on that too, I guess a couple of days ago I posted that video, and it's like some drone footage that Chris took, and I wrote this caption saying, "Locals really grew up with this, and yet they chose to move to Las Vegas," something like that. But It's gotten like I think almost 8,000 views so far, and it's really
Wow.
interesting because so many people commented about how you need 2 or 3 different jobs to really make it in Hawaii. So it's funny that you mentioned that because I think it's kind of true, and I guess a lot of locals really I don't know if they resonate with that message, but they definitely live that sort of reality.
Yeah.
So my advice to all the locals out there, stop trading your time for money. You gotta start a business, and it's so easy to start a business nowadays too. Like we literally have a supercomputer in our pockets, you
Yep.
know? Like everybody has an iPhone nowadays, everyone's got an Android. You can do so much. The world is just literally at your fingertips.
For real.
So truly, like there's really no excuse to not start some sort of business.
Yeah. And definitely, yeah, as David said, that that supercomputer, it's free marketing, especially Instagram, Facebook. Like maybe in the past 30 years ago, there would be a higher barrier to entry for making businesses, but now like education's all over the place, and you just need to know people, have a product that serves people, and people will buy it.
And this goes for any industry too. If you can find a problem that people are encountering and you offer a solution,
Yep.
people will buy that solution. They'll do it.
Yeah.
So that's like secret, truly like the secret to making as much money as you can. It's finding a problem and offering a solution in like a really nice package, an efficient, convenient package. People will just flock to you.
That's awesome, dude. So
Yeah.
you added a couple thousand to your income of cash flow. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, and it's only gonna get better. I mean, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah. This is
Um,
only the beginning, the first month. That's
yeah,
freaking
really, it was just the
badass.
first month, but I've done, I think, 5 or 6 projects so far,
Yeah.
and it's nice. It's because like I wasn't really doing anything anyway, and it's cool. I get to meet more agents, handle their media, and it's kind of cool too. I can sort of add it to my repertoire, and crazy announcement too. Chris's real estate license has officially been approved from
Yeah.
DCCA. So
That was a journey.
yeah, it's been like 2 months, and we were just sort of just waiting for that. And
Yeah.
now, like the really exciting stuff begins because we can offer this type of media package in house to our potential clients,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And it's gonna be so crazy because media is really expensive.
For real,
I
dude.
found that out because I thought I was charging way too much, but Chris is saying maybe I'm not charging enough. But you know, like
Yeah.
media is really expensive, and now we're able to offer that as like a free add-on to our services as realtors.
Dude, I love that because we're just gonna be entering homes and doing the marketing for like our clients by ourselves. And it's like, dude, you can spend up to 2 grand on just media packages alone. That's
Yeah,
But you have the giraffe, the 3D tour camera. That's super expensive, by the way. If you bought a Matterport one, it's like 3 grand for that whole thing.
oh yeah, for sure.
But like, dude, that's so awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
man.
excited for that. I'm excited to just like walk in one of these high rises, and then just like make content
Bro.
and even like do podcasts. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, yeah. We gotta make friends with some of these agents who are listing these ultra luxury condos. If we can just get one of them and film in it one day,
Yeah.
that'd be great. We just do like a whole filming, and we can offer like maybe a package to them for free. We'll just say, hey, we'll like just revamp all your marketing. We'll give you a video if you just let us film in here one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool,
Yeah.
dude. Wow, I'm excited for this 2025. There's a lot of things, but yeah, dude, getting that license was a journey. Usually, it's not supposedly not.
It's supposed to be
Yeah.
pretty quick.
Yeah.
I don't really know why Chris's took that long. Um, but hey, I mean, better late than never, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Now you're licensed. We're still waiting for your license number to really be official, but I mean, we're ready to go.
Yeah, yeah.
2025 we're gonna kill it. We're gonna help so many families, add so much value, and really just educate everyone out there on the possibilities and the future of being able to live and stay in Hawaii and just make it here too.
Yeah, definitely. Man, but I do want to touch upon like your journey as a realtor. So I'm in the beginning stages. But just telling people about it, I feel like I've gained a little more respect than just a wholesaler acquisitions. There's like some air of respect, like, oh, I'm studying for my license, and they'd be like, oh, good for you. That's like the next level of what you're currently doing, and
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
I feel like a lot of wholesalers, and no offense to any wholesalers out there, but you guys do get a little bit of like a negative
yeah,
connotation, you know? So I'm glad you're licensed now. And truth be told, I think especially because of that recent NER lawsuit too, I feel like the realtor reputation and the brand has sort of taken a little bit of a hit too.
yeah,
When I was back in school, like 10 years ago, taking the real estate class, our instructor told us that the general perception of real estate agents and realtors in general are it's just not that great. We're
oh,
just maybe like a step above like a used car salesman, right? And I'm
dang,
hoping that, you know, through these channels and just listening to us, that we can sort of help to fix that image of realtors
yeah.
that, you know, we're here to just educate. We're not here to try to make a sale. Um, we're just here to just help people,
Yeah.
really.
And that was a big thing for me. So as a wholesaler, I felt like I wasn't helping enough. Like, of course, there are situations where sellers would need to get out of a bad situation with cash really fast,
Yeah.
and that was like a small percent of the market. But like with a realtor's license, you can do a lot. You can. There's so much. There's a whole world, dude. Like,
Yeah, sky's the limit, honestly.
yeah.
Have you ever run into any kind of like complications doing wholesaling?
It's interesting because there's one w- for there's one form of thought that like, oh, I don't want to talk to agents, right? Like, I don't want to sell on market.
Yeah.
That's the types of sellers that I'm going for. But in another aspect, there's like a lot of respect. Like, oh, you studied, you done a lot of work to get that license, and you're held to a certain standard. But the only complications is that a deal in the investor wholesale world easily falls apart. Maybe if you get it under a contract, falls apart 50%. Yeah,
50%.
50%. Like there's like some high, like I felt like for every two contracts that I had, one was gonna fall out.
Wow.
Sometimes both of them fell out because of the wishy-washiness of the contract, or the terms, or the seller, right? They're really in distressed situations, and that was the hard part about it. Like,
Mm. Yeah, I get that.
they can easily back out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, what if you had to guess, like, what was the most common reason for a contract to sort of fall out like that?
It's it's hard. It's a bunch of reasons. Like, for example, it definitely because of the price, or because they weren't ready. Like,
Mm.
we'd have to lowball because there needs to be a certain profit margin.
Right.
But yeah, it was mostly a bunch of reasons. Like, oh, my wife doesn't want to sell yet, or like they get cold feet and they just stop. They ghost us, and yeah, there's a bunch of reasons.
No.
Yeah, yeah. But
Well,
it might have something to do with credibility. So people are not used to off-market transactions, right?
yeah. No, I hear that. And just letting you know, as a realtor too, you will get ghosted as well. It's
Yeah.
kind of just it happens in the industry.
Oh, dang. Even
Yeah.
in escrow, does that happen?
I did actually have a client ghost me during escrow.
Ouch.
I'm like, what's going on, man?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
in contract. Like, pick up my phone call, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Were they the seller or buyer?
They were the buyer.
Okay.
Up until the opening of escrow, communication was great. And then when it came time for the deposit to be due, gone. Gone with the
Oh,
wind. I was like, where are you, bro? Like, you know, eventually he came back, but then he was like, he told me that he had cold feet, and I'm like, hey, well, this is a perfect time to just get out of the contract. But, we don't want to be in default though, so you need to let me know right now if we're still doing this.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that happens a lot
Oh, in
in
the
on the
wholesaling
wholesale
industry?
side. Yeah, even yeah, dude. No matter, it's dude. That's what I was sick of. Like, man, like just follow through. Like, I
That's
yeah
interesting though, like, because you guys do a contract with the seller, right? So with them ghosting, is there any sort of like financial repercussion, or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
what is there to keep the seller in the transaction to actually close the deal?
Yeah, definitely it's less protected as the realtor contract that you guys use.
Yeah. How many pages is it, if you don't mind me
It's
asking?
two.
Two
It can
pages.
be one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, definitely less protection for sure.
Yeah, so lack of protection, like seller can just ghost and like we just have to like rip up the contract.
Oh,
Even in
wow.
escrow, dude. Like well, when it's in escrow it's a little more like serious.
Yeah.
Like but it can still happen, right? Like maybe they sign a contract, it doesn't go through escrow yet, and they ghost, and
Oh, wow.
it's like, okay, this doesn't mean anything. Like the contract doesn't mean.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I'm excited to kind of. I like that there's standards and protections for both the buyer and seller on this side.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a major difference. Being in the real estate industry as a realtor, and just for the public too, because I think a lot of the public don't really realize that there is a difference between a normal real estate agent versus a realtor. So
Yeah.
a realtor is actually a brand. You have to pay to be a part of this organization, and we are held to a code of ethics, right? And also because we are licensed, it is a regulated industry, right? So if you ever have a complaint against a specific realtor or anyone that's licensed in general, it's regulated by RICO.
What does that mean?
RICO is the Regulated Industries Compliance Office, I think.
So it's regulated.
I think that's what it stands for. But yeah, it's regulated. So you never want to get a call from RICO, because if you
Oh
do, that
man.
means you really screwed up. Someone's out to get you.
Oh
you know?
dang.
So, but that's the thing, right? Because we're realtors, we are held to like a higher standard than a normal real estate agent. But the public, like, they just kind of call all of us realtors, you know. But to be a realtor, we have to pay a lot of fees. We're part of the National Association of Realtors, and the forms that we use are made specifically for realtors to use. So the contract that Chris spoke about earlier, in its most basic form, it's 14 pages long, offers a lot of protection for both the buyer and the seller. It gives the buyers opportunities to learn about the property and make a knowledgeable decision and an informed decision on whether or not they want to go through with the purchase of the property or the sale from the seller side.
That's what I like about it, dude. Like
Yeah.
ours is was drafted by a real estate attorney, but yours or not yours, like the standard contract is so good. Like it was years and years and years of development, right?
Yeah, for sure. Uh, Crazy story. So I found the purchase contract for my uncle's house,
Okay.
and I think he had bought the piece of land like back in 1995 or something like
Oh
that.
wow.
Back then, it was only 2 pages long. It was only 2 pages long, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like, there is absolutely no protection in here at
Oh
all.
wow.
So I feel like the wholesaling contract probably looks like that prehistoric
Yeah,
purchase contract
probably.
that realtors used to use. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I'll show it to you guys later, but yeah, it's but yeah, dude. So tell me about your journey as a real estate agent. Like why choose real estate? Like why like you studied was it business? finance or
I
psychology?
actually, yeah, I studied psychology.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Chris.
yeah.
Chris went
Okay.
into psychology too. We found that out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually wanted to be an attorney.
Wow.
That was my goal throughout college. And I really enjoy. I don't want to say I enjoy it. It is boring stuff, but I'm quite good at reading legal things like contracts and just legal jargon and stuff like that, and interpreting law. So yeah, my goal through college was get the easiest degree, get out of college quick, and then go to law school. And that was until I found out how expensive law school is.
Oh.
So I was like, shoot, how am I gonna afford this? So I decided, you know what, let's just like maybe work at a bank. So I started working at American Savings Bank, and um, a few of my clients that would come in, they would deposit these gigantic checks, and that kind of goes into the reason why I started real estate in the first place. And like, obviously, who you go into something because you want to make some money, okay?
Yeah.
Like, let's just be real here.
Yep.
All right, I saw the checks. They were like $25,000, and I'm like, holy shit! What do you do? What do I need to do what you're doing?
Yeah.
You know? So they were like, hey, yeah, like I'm a realtor, I'm a real estate agent. Like, why don't you go get your license? You can start selling some homes. I'm like,
Wow.
that sounds like a great idea. So I got my license. Unfortunately, the bank found out that I had gotten the license, and they kind of gave me an ultimatum. Basically said, hey, you cannot activate your license. If you
Oh.
do, you have to leave the bank. And at the time, I was like, wait, why? Like, doesn't make any sense. But, you know, in hindsight, looking back at it, because I was at the bank and I had access to the computer and I could process like applications for people, I can see who's saving money, you know, or just applied for like a new loan, or opened up a new HELOC or something. So, you know, the bank didn't want me soliciting business from their clientele. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. So, and the reason why I worked at the bank was because the bank actually offered a employee benefit where if you work with them for a year, they'll pay for your grad school or whatever professional school that is related to the banking industry.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, great, this is my ticket in. So I actually worked with them for an entire year already.
Oh, wow.
And then I got my license, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna quit. I just got this licensing. Let's just see how far we can take this. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's
the
so
rest is
cool.
history after that.
So, do you remember the person who inspired you or told you about it, or were they just like passing by?
I do remember, and I won't mention their name because so the reason why their checks were so big was I'm gonna use the third person now.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that
yeah.
you don't know who
Protect.
it is, but so they were cashing gigantic checks because they actually weren't paying their agents the rate that they promised.
Oh,
The commission split. So they got into a lot of trouble legally. So it makes
Was a broker.
yeah, it was a broker.
Oh.
They owned the brokerage. They had
Okay.
agents under them. They weren't paying them their complete split.
Oh,
They kept some of it.
damn.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it was
Are they in jail?
no. Oddly enough, they're not in jail. Should be in jail. but
Lawsuit?
yes, definitely had a lawsuit.
Awesome.
I met one of the agents that worked under them, and yeah, there was a big lawsuit happening. Yeah, don't be that agent. Yeah, so obviously I didn't work with them afterwards.
Okay.
I just decided to sign up at the school that I took the class from, and that's kind of how my real estate journey began. It was like a small, like sort of mom and pop sort of brokerage.
Yeah, how did you choose them versus there's a lot? Locations, Caldwell.
You know, I actually didn't really interview at different places. I think what had happened was, I'm not gonna name the school either because I have some opinions about it.
Okay.
But,
No
you know,
worries.
they said, hey, we only take the cream of the crop here, the best of the best, the creme de la creme, you know? I was like, oh my God, yeah, this sounds like my place. So I tried my best to be number one in the class. And I did become number one in the class. I got
Awesome.
like the highest test scores, and obviously they took me. They hired me. And then next thing you know, like 2 weeks later, this other dude walks into the doors and he's been hired. And I'm like, what are you doing here? You were like the bottom of the barrel. No offense. But he was like, yeah, I just got hired. I'm like, oh, okay. And then like just the facade just like started just it just got shattered.
Oh no,
And
that
I'm
was
like,
like
oh
the beginning, even at the beginning.
yeah. Um,
Shit.
and this goes to a lot of agents out there. When you're starting, like really interview with a lot of brokerages and see what type of resources they have to offer. My advice to you guys out there would be, start at a place like Locations or Coldwell Banker, Better Homes and Gardens, like those bigger, like kind of brick and mortar places. They have the resources and the time to offer a solid foundational education to agents. And I think it's so important, right? A lot of agents, when they become licensed, they're trying to chase like the whole, oh, I want like a big split, you know? And they'll sign up with brokerages like EXP or Real Broker, you know, because we offer like really gigantic splits. But, at the same time, those are cloud brokerages. They don't really have like those offices or very like traditional training that I think an agent should go through. So unless you're getting like a really good mentor who knows their stuff, I mean, there's so much liability, which is why I recommend that as a new agent, you have to go through their steps. You have to do the homework and learn the contract really, really well. And you'll get that education through those bigger brokerages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good observation, man. But the reason why I joined David is because he does know that stuff. He's a broker, and definitely Real was the flexibility that I wanted. But having a good mentor like David was probably the big decision that I chose. So
Thanks,
yeah.
man. I appreciate that.
So if you're new, I definitely think it's worth it to study under David. But
Thank you.
yeah, there's a lot of brokerages. But yeah, dude, so continue. How was your first year? What did you learn?
Man,
And
my
yeah.
first year was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I made, I think, like maybe 4 sales my first year. Maybe 3 sales. I
It's
don't
pretty
remember
good.
already.
I don't know if what's good or not, to be honest.
I mean,
Livable
definitely not
wages?
livable.
Oh,
It was
okay.
not livable at all. I tell my wife all the time that I probably could have just worked at McDonald's. No offense to anybody working at McDonald's, but I probably could have worked at McDonald's and made more money my first year. But my biggest takeaway from that first year was that you cannot be a secret agent.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a realtor, that is not your time to be 007. Don't do no James Bond shit. You need to go out there and just shout to the world, I am a realtor. You need to make it known. You got to be out there. You know, you for your first like 3 years of real estate, you can't just sit back and expect your phone to ring and get referrals. You got to
Oh,
go out
yeah.
there, you got to do the work. You got to market yourself properly. And it's just like any sales, any kind of business too. It all comes down to marketing, and I learned that really well, really hard. The like my second year, that you have to just go at it. You can't be like embarrassed, can't be ashamed. You just tell everybody and anybody. Like I started wearing my name tag around to
Cool.
wherever I went,
Nice.
and it was kind of stupid, but like I was able to get some leads just doing that
Yeah, I'm
too.
gonna do that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do that.
dude. Yeah,
Like
we
it
should
has
totally
your
do it.
company name and
Yeah, company
oh,
name
okay.
has your name on it, your license number, and all that. But I would wear it to like anywhere I went. So, like, funny story, I would go to like Macy's,
Yeah, yeah.
with my parents or something, and because I'm wearing a name tag, people come up to me like, "Hey, can you help me find this like piece of clothing?" And yeah, so people would come up to me and they would notice a name tag, and then they would ask me, "Hey, can you help me find this like piece of clothing or whatever?" And because my mom is like Macy's number one consumer, I know where everything is at Macy's. So I would help them and I would take them, oh, I'm actually not like an employee here, but I know what you're looking for. So, follow me. And I
Wow.
would take them there. And then, on the way they'd ask me like, hey, what do you do then? Why are you never wearing a name tag? I'm like, oh, I'm actually a realtor. So I was like, hey, you know, you see this customer service you're getting right now? Imagine what it would be like to be my client buying or selling a house. And that's how
Wow,
I got some
dude.
leads doing that too. So it's kind of funny.
That's freaking smooth, man. Dude, good shit. So, okay, so you became a realtor, 4 sales in that year. What was the biggest takeaway of that year?
Well, outside of not being a secret agent, um, you want to make sure you have a little bit of like a savings too. I spoke with a very like veteran agent during my first year of real estate, and he was like, "Hey, my number one advice would be open up some sort of like line of credit, something to give you some cash to like use, because there will be months, there will be times where you will have no income.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's just kind of that just sort of happens, right? And I mean that was great because I worked at the bank, I still had some connections there, so I was able to get myself like a $15,000 like line of credit. And it was great because I actually ended up using that line of credit more often than I would like to admit during my
Yeah.
first year, because I was like, if I don't use this line of credit, I'm gonna starve, you know. So yeah, is that like have some sort of savings, because you're gonna need it during your first year, unless you just absolutely crush it and you come out like guns a blazing and ready to go, which I wasn't, right? I didn't have that foundation to really build off of, so I
Yeah.
had to really just sort of figure things out on my own. um, I think my second piece of advice is work on your marketing. And I'm not saying like, hire like a videographer, buy the latest camera or whatever and get all the fancy mics and stuff. Like we have enough in our phones, right?
Yeah.
Like this is enough to get you going. Just film videos, put yourself out there. Social media is huge when you're a realtor. So, when you're starting out, like Chris is, he's really getting into social media. In fact, we're going to be starting like 100-day social media challenge with Jeremy Mateo pretty
Yeah, I'm
soon. I think
excited.
next year, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
2025.
we're going to go 100 days straight, just consistently posting and just putting ourselves out there.
If not, use a bitch.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
100-day challenge. I think this is gonna jumpstart my business and career in as an agent. I think it's already like generating conversations. Oh, dude, um, because I've been posting recently, one of my uncles that lives in New Jersey wants a vacation condo if he can afford it. So we gotta introduce him
That's
to a
how you
lender.
do it. That's how,
Yeah.
dude. That's exactly the reason why you get into social media.
Yeah,
Oh, dude,
dude.
I'm excited for you. Yeah, that's precisely why. Like people, and it doesn't always work out this way. Like I've been friends with people like on Facebook for like so many years, and then sometimes they'll reach out to me like, "Oh, I didn't know you were a realtor." I'm like, "Have you been living under a rock, bro? Like I post about real estate all the time, you know? Like, are you really my friend if you don't know?"
Yeah. Yo, B, what's up, dude? Yo, this is B.
What's up,
Yo,
man?
yeah, no. All right, dude.
Vitamin B, folks.
Dude, yeah, check his work out. He's a great videographer. He does like high-end, high-tier quality music videos and stuff like that.
Oh,
So we'll,
cool.
we'll plug in his info. Small Island.
Oh man, seriously. But actually, that kind of brings up a good point too. It is a very small island, so being a realtor, you want to make sure you're just kind of cool with everybody too. You don't really want to rock the boat too much, right? Especially being in Hawaii, everything is very relationship based, right? So as you're starting off as a realtor, I highly encourage you to go out, when you're free. If you have nothing else to do on a Sunday or even like a Wednesday or Thursday, go out to the brokers' open houses, go out to regular open houses, and just meet other realtors. Because you never know when you're going to need to kind of call on that relationship to make something happen,
Yeah.
right? And I've done many transactions over my career where sometimes we're not the best offer, but because I have such a good relationship with the other agent on the other side, we've been able to make things happen.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And like a lot of people kind of bring up like, oh, is that ethical? Is that moral? Like, is that on like your client's best interest? And sometimes it does come down to that because, if the other agent who is maybe making an offer for one of my listings, if they're being like a total Karen, I'm not gonna want to work with that. It's gonna make my life a living hell. It's gonna make
Yeah.
my seller's life a living hell. I'm gonna work with somebody who is chill, who can really make things work and do it as smoothly as possible for my client. So in that respect, in that regard, like it is in the best interest of my client to work with somebody that I know and trust, that I know can get this to closing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a people's business, man.
it
Like
really is. It really
definitely
is.
network. But yeah, just being a good person, that's super important. And it's a long game, right? Like you have to be someone that people like to be around.
Yeah, you gotta make sure that you are somebody that people know and that they can trust too. Yeah, and that's also just part of like being a realtor too. It's part of our code of ethics. We have to be trustworthy. We have to be honest in all of our dealings.
I like that atmosphere of like reliable, held to high standard, ethical. Not everyone's ethical, but like there are guidelines and rules where you have to be in,
Yeah.
right? What else can you tell me about your journey, dude? Like why stay in real estate for 10 years? That's a pretty long time.
I really do enjoy real estate now. Like I know I got into it for the money, and the money is great. Being a realtor for about 10 years now, like I do get a lot more referrals every year now, which is great. Like I don't
Yeah.
actually have to really put myself out there as much anymore.
Awesome.
But I have found that I really do enjoy meeting new people, building relationships, and just helping them achieve their real estate goals, right? If you look at like all the wealthiest people that a lot of their wealth oftentimes comes from owning real estate,
Yep.
so I feel like real estate, if done well, is the key to financial freedom, you know, and I want that for like my family, so being a realtor, my wife and I have been able to achieve, um, I consider it to be quite a bit of success too.
Yeah.
Um,
Don't be humble, bro. You guys have yeah, you built a pretty good portfolio and it's going to get better.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So we were able to purchase a condo. That
Awesome.
was our first little investment there. We lived there for I think like 2 years, and it wasn't until my friend Jeremy Chang actually kind of pushed us to do more. Because we were very complacent, very comfortable living in that condo. We're like, oh yes, this is great. Like our payments, nothing crazy. I think we were only paying like $1,500 a month
Oh, that's
in
good.
mortgage.
Yeah.
Our interest rate was 2.5%, so it was amazing. Plus
Ooh,
the maintenance fee, I think it was like $500 at the time,
that,
so like 2 grand. So basically a thousand from each of us, easy,
awesome.
super easy to do. And we were comfortable, right? We both had really good jobs. I was making sales, and we were building up like a huge savings. I'm like, oh my god, I've never seen this much money in my bank account before. It was great. But yeah, it's because my friend pushed us to do more, to want more out of life. And then it was like, yeah, you know what? Like I push my clients to do this. Why am I not doing this for myself, for my family?
Yeah.
So because he pushed us, we were able to buy another property, and this property actually had two homes on it. And it's great because we lived there. We were able to get rental income from both the condo and the back house of the new property. And then, after Nee got pregnant, then we're like, oh, dang, this is gonna be a little bit hard. And then my mom was like, hey, why don't you move back home? Just live here. When the baby's born, we can help you. I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's just do that. So now we have three rental properties. One of them is cash flowing really well, the condo. But the other two, the front house and the back house, they're doing okay. We get enough to cover the mortgage,
That's great.
but we're not really cash flowing on it because
Yeah.
like the property taxes and the insurance, those kind of eat up any kind of profit that we do make.
Yeah.
but the condo makes up for it. So yeah, it's been great. I think for everybody out there who's just sort of like on the sidelines and kind of waiting around, like don't wait. Like being in real estate or trying to get into real estate or purchasing a property, a lot of it is just it's not even about timing the market. It's just spending time in the market,
Yeah, yeah,
right? You buy real estate and then you wait. And that's the name of the game, especially for Hawaii. I think a lot of people need to understand that Hawaii is not going to be a cash flow sort of state.
yep.
We never will be. It's an appreciation state. People want to live here. We live in a place where people vacation,
Yeah,
right? People want to come here. So, yeah, if you can hang on to real estate for like 5 years, longer if you can, but if you at least do 5 years, you'll see a pretty decent amount of appreciation from
that's
that
awesome.
investment.
Dude, definitely cash flow if you bought it like 50 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. But if you're getting it now, you're
Yeah.
not gonna cash flow.
Dude,
You just
yeah.
you just bank on that appreciation.
All the numbers does not work out. Like
Yeah.
I've analyzed hundreds of deals, really hard to cash flow
Yeah.
unless you buy it like 50% of its value, and
Yeah.
that's hard, dude. But that's great. So real estate, the ability to achieve generational wealth through appreciation, especially here on Hawaii, you need to be in the game, just and you'll benefit, right? I'd like to say that I'm still generally new to real estate. It's almost my third year, and there's just so much strategies. Like just learning real estate will help you get ahead of like the game. Just understanding how to buy it right, where to buy, how to run your numbers, and yeah, eventually it is going to be a great decision. There's some sacrifices that you need to make, but I think the more you know, the more you can understand how to buy it right.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm glad you brought up like the whole sacrifice aspect of it too. Um, I've helped many families over the years buy homes, and a lot of them joke. They like to joke about instant ramen every day. And sometimes that is going to be the case, right? Like even when Nee and I bought our first place, we didn't have that much savings, right? Nee had a little bit more than me because she's a lot more responsible financially. But
Yep.
we actually really did do instant noodle for a little while, right? It is gonna be a little bit of a sacrifice, but it's fine. I love instant noodle anyway. It tastes good,
Yeah.
But it's like you make those sacrifices to put yourself ahead, And I think if we didn't have that kind of discipline to do so, we wouldn't be where we are today. You
Yeah,
know,
that delayed gratification,
yeah,
as we
yeah,
always mention. We're always going to mention this, by the way, delayed gratification.
yeah. If you can work on that discipline and delay your gratification just for a little bit, even if you just have to eat instant ramen for a year, it's okay. Your health will be fine too. It's fine. Just exercise or whatever. The salt's not that big of an issue. It's okay.
Dang. Okay, so 10 years. I'm sure you learned a lot, and you're still going to move forward full force. This is your end game, your career that you're gonna die with.
Oh yeah, well, that's a little morbid.
Yeah, not morbid, but like this means, so David's been in the industry and he sees the long game, right? It's like a way to build family wealth. And what's your opinions about moving forward in real estate in the future, 2025?
I feel like in 2025 it's gonna be a crazy year. Um, Not to get political here or anything, but especially with our incoming president, um, he's really good for business.
Yeah, and real
Ex-
estate.
yeah, extremely, extremely great for those types of industries. So I feel like 2025 is really going to be the year where we just crush it. And like really, I don't really care where anyone's like political beliefs are, what they align with. It's like, look, he's gonna be the president already. You just gotta suck it up, right? But during this time, these next 4 years of his presidency, this is the time to make as much money as possible. If you think he's gonna screw up the entire US, hey, you're entitled to your own opinion, but you can't deny that you're gonna make a lot of money. This is the next like big cash grab, the big money maker these next 4 years.
Heck
So,
yeah.
don't even worry about what's going on in the White House. Just worry about what's going on in your house,
Yeah.
right? Make that
Love
money,
that.
put your head down, grind away. Like, I mean, that's what I'm kind of looking forward to.
Yeah.
These next 4 years, it will be the biggest transfer of wealth that we have ever seen in our generation,
Yeah.
right? Like crypto is going crazy right now. Like this new administration that's coming in and all these new officials that are coming in into the government, they're pro crypto, right? They're very pro business, and yeah, it's undeniable. It's going to be undeniable how much money that is going to be made. How many millionaires will be born from these next 4 years?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
yeah. I want us to be a part of that.
Dude, and we want everyone to join us on our journey
Yeah.
too. And I think because Trump's president, because he's business and real estate oriented, he's gonna try to shift policy to benefit him.
Yeah,
Which
which will eventually trickle down and then benefit the rest of us too.
yeah, yeah. So
So
why not hop on this freaking train
yeah,
with us?
just get on it.
Yeah.
Like don't worry about what's going on, man. Just take care of yourself. That's all you got. You know,
Yeah.
Trump's not gonna pay your bills.
For real. I'm
Come with
excited.
us. Just be on this journey with us and just screw everything else. Just watch out for yourself. Make
Yeah.
money.
Dude, that's one thing I really want, like you guys listening to us, is to just get in the game, whether it be just learning, like learn how to buy a house. Just be a little more conscious about your spending habits on a personal finance level. Not even like a macro level, just like your own education and how you pivot to the economy or politics.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like we're not young anymore. I mean, we're still young, but like, we're not in our 20s anymore. We're not in college. We're not trying to go clubbing every day now.
Yeah.
That's not the cool thing. You know what the cool thing is? Owning a property,
Yeah.
owning multiple properties, owning a rental portfolio, and like being able to provide to your family. That's the cool thing now,
Yeah, that's fucking
right?
badass.
Yeah. Like going out and clubbing every weekend, like that's not badass anymore. To me, that's just like a huge waste of time
Yeah.
and money and energy. You know, take care of yourself, take care of your health. Yeah.
Dude, I spent so much money on partying. That's my biggest regret. Like not being so conscious about the money that I was spending and how wasteful I was. Like I'm pretty sure I'd be able to afford like a sizable down payment for a house. And I spent so much money. Yeah, I wish
Oh
I
man.
did. I wish I jumped in the game sooner. That's my biggest regret. But it's all timing, right?
Yeah, I hear you, man. If I look back at my high school and college days, I mean, I spent so much money on cars, more than I care to admit. Gosh, I've been through like, I think over my, since I've been licensed, I've probably owned like 15 different cars.
Oh wow,
It's
dude,
ridiculous.
that's pretty.
Yeah. Some brand new, some used, but they're all like kind of sports cars or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was ridiculous the amount of money. If I had to do the math, I'm not gonna do the math.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to do the math. My wife's watching this. She's gonna be pissed.
Wow, dude. So was it like you owning multiple cars at one time, like three, or what was the most cars you owned in one time?
3 cars. That was pretty recently too, actually.
Oh, okay, okay. But you had to sell it.
Yeah. No, we did have to sell the cars eventually. It just wasn't making sense for us. Yeah, when I was younger, I only just owned like one car at a time, and I would just switch cars. Yeah. So funny story. I hope you don't go through women like how you go through cars.
Oh, dang.
And I was like, dang it. And then like 2 or 3 weeks later, after she said that, I broke up with her,
Oh,
and then I bought a
shit.
new car.
Wow.
It was terrible. It was really bad. I
The
spent a lot of
timing,
money.
dude.
Yeah, the timing
Wow.
was terrible. I feel bad for laughing. It was really bad. I shouldn't laugh about that.
Was
It's
it
terrible.
like a long relationship?
I think it was maybe like 6 months. It wasn't very long. So I bought a car at the beginning of that relationship, and then we broke up, and then I bought another car,
Did it
a
make you
different car.
feel good?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I masked the pain with another car. It's
Yeah, that's
terrible. Like
badass.
you know how like women, not all women out there, but I've noticed a lot of women when they go through like a breakup, they get like a new hairstyle.
Yeah.
They try to change things up, and it's like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, it's a whole new me. I did that with cars.
What was it? What car you get?
Oh man, what was that? That one was a. I had a Nissan Altima Coupe.
Oh,
It was a two
nice.
door. It was like a really nice like sports car looking thing. And then after the breakup, I went out and bought a Honda S2000, a
Oh,
convertible.
wow.
That one was
Nice.
a fun car. It was great.
Two-seater? That's a
Yeah,
two-seater?
two-seater. I would always drive up with the top down. I was like a total
Dude,
douchebag.
that's a bachelor's car, dude.
Yeah, I look like a douchebag. That was back in college too. So I would drive through campus with the top down, playing my music
Yeah.
super loud, just totally, just being a tool. Well, Chris, what are your goals getting into real estate for your family?
Yeah, dude. It's definitely all about money. But one big thing is I want to start buying my own primary residence.
Yeah,
So that's a big thing. I'm the type of person that like if I want to do something, I'll learn it and then do it. But but like it takes me a while to learn things. So
that's the best way to do it
yeah.
though. Like you want to understand what you're getting yourself into, especially with real estate. It's such a complicated process. I love that you took the time to really learn it before you kind of jumped into. I feel like people really need to learn real estate a little bit. I feel like everybody should sort of get their license
Yeah,
and learn
yeah,
it. It's
same
so
here.
valuable, the type of education you get. And just having that license too gives you access to so many things, right? So
Yeah.
props to you for taking that next step and doing it.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I felt like when I just stepped into it, I had more options. Like, do I want to buy it off market or do I want to buy it like with conventional financing? There's just so many things now that I can look at like, oh, I don't really like this or
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you can find an off-market deal, totally go for it. It's gonna be so much cheaper for you. But yeah, man, more power to you, bro. I cannot wait until you buy your first property. The first one is like probably the hardest thing to get into because you just don't know, right? Um, but don't worry, I'm here for you. You just bounce the idea off of me. I'll let you know if it's a good investment. But yeah, getting that first one, saving up the down payment, it's probably like one of the hardest like life adjustments
oh,
because you now have that 30-year commitment of making this payment. If you don't pay it, you're gonna get foreclosed on, right?
yeah,
You
yeah.
definitely don't want to get that.
That's a thing, right? Like I'm used to like living.
You good? No worries.
No, you're good, man. No, no, no.
All good, bro.
This
All
is.
good.
It's funny, man. People are friendly here. But yeah, I lived a somewhat nomadic life the past 7 years. So going to Japan, like moving around, not really staying in one place. I think the most I've stayed in like an apartment renting was 1 year. So I would move around a lot. I would come back to Hawaii, go back to Japan, and I guess now that I have a kid now, we have to think about like base.
Mm.
What's our base? And
Where do you think you would like your first place to be?
so the plan is this: I want to buy a off-market condo for now, so that I have something over here. I don't know what my parents are gonna do with their property. They might sell it. So, but I want to keep based in Hawaii right now, but then buy in Japan because debt is so cheap there. It's like 1%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1% interest.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah. So like a mortgage would be $1,000 or something.
Are there limitations to, I guess, like a foreigner buying real estate in Japan?
I would have a permanent resident
Yeah.
visa,
Oh, okay.
but I'm not too sure about like visa holders. I think if you just have money, you can buy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I see these things called akia, which is like broken homes in the countryside. They're being sold for like $5,000 or $10,000.
Oh, wow.
It's because it's not an appreciation game. Like there's like no value to the actual house or very little. Like they have a different depreciation schedule, so basically they want us like get rid of these houses and encourage people to come to the countrysides because people are just leaving to the city.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so cheap.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, that's cool though that like Japan doesn't really have like a limitation as far as that. I ask because like in Vietnam it's very different. Um, I think if I remember correctly, Nee was telling me that as a foreigner, there's a lot of roadblocks to purchasing property there. In fact, like I think you almost have to have like a Vietnam like ID,
Oh wow.
like some sort of government ID to be able to purchase something in Vietnam. So for her, like, she was very adamant about being able to keep her Vietnamese like citizenship, so that in the future we can look at purchasing property in Vietnam to expand our rental portfolio and have
Yeah.
more income too. So that's so interesting how different companies not companies, how different countries handle their real estate. Yeah, I wanna retire into Vietnam actually.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, like I
Gonna
think
visit.
yeah, dude, totally. I want to retire to Vietnam. It's everything is so cheap there, and if we live in the city, like comparatively, it is a little more expensive in like Vietnam standards, but like when you compare back to the U.S., it's still way cheaper. Cost of living there is just so low, right? And Vietnam, I used to almost view Vietnam as like a third world country almost, but I could not have been more wrong. It is so developed, so
Hmm.
modern. It's a great place to be.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
the food I heard
Oh,
is
the
good.
food is amazing,
Yeah.
bro.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of like nomadic influencers that are moving to places like Vietnam, Thailand. And I guess it's developed so much that the quality of life is better and cheaper
Yeah.
than America.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I can't wait to retire there one day. Are you ever gonna retire to Japan?
Yeah,
Would you?
probably.
Yeah.
Probably. But I planned this out, dude. Like the reason why I married a Japanese woman is because I could go back and forth. That was a big reason. Like I wanted to build my life around California, Japan, and Hawaii. Just
That's
going
awesome.
in that.
That's a good idea, man. Yeah, that's so cool. Like it gives you an excuse to go to Japan. Like, oh, my wife's homesick. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I haven't been to Japan yet. Like that's definitely on my list to do for like 2025, maybe 2026. We'll see.
Dude,
Yeah,
after we close our first few deals, dude, I'm pretty sure she'd want to go back
dude.
like
I know
really
Lee wants to go
fast.
too. So if we can go with you guys, and Japan, like I think that's the best way to experience a country. It's
Yeah.
to go with somebody who knows the ins and outs.
And then we can go to Vietnam,
Oh man.
whether like right after or the next year,
Yeah.
because babies are still small. So
Yeah.
when they
Man, that'd be
can
so
walk
cool.
around.
Especially when they're like a little bit older too. Like, man, for them to experience that, like, I never got to travel internationally until I think second grade. But
Whoa, that's pretty early, dude.
oh, when did you travel internationally?
Internationally, probably high school. High school, yeah.
Oh wow. Oh, okay. Well, maybe I was. I guess I was pretty fortunate then. But yeah, my parents took us to China when I was in second grade. I think my brother was in kindergarten
Wow.
when we had gone, and that was the last time that we had gone to China too. First and last time. But I want to go back too. especially with Parker. Like he's 75% Chinese, so I was like, well,
That's
I guess I
awesome.
gotta take you to China.
Dude, and like your family was all speaking to him and only Chinese. And does Nee speak to him in Vietnamese or English?
Yeah, almost exclusively in Vietnamese. So like I think he's like starting to get really confused.
I think he's gonna be fine, dude. He's gonna be trilingual, and
Yeah,
that's so cool.
I hope so. My hope is that as he's growing up though, that he doesn't have like that weird cultural identity issues.
Dude, I had that.
Yeah?
Maybe I still do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wait, I thought you're full Filipino though.
I'm full Filipino, but like as an immigrant,
Mm.
we're stuck in between cultures.
Yeah. No, I get
Am I
that.
more Filipino or more
More American.
American? Definitely
Yeah.
American. I'm like a coconut, bro.
Yeah.
Brown on the outside, white on the inside. But there's a little Japanese.
I'm a Twinkie.
Yeah.
I'm definitely American. But yeah, my hope is that like I think especially for our children, you know, like because Lei is half Japanese, half Filipino.
Yeah.
Parker is 75% Chinese, a quarter Vietnamese. Like I hope with our kids growing up that they don't ever have to go through any of this cultural identity crisis or anything like that. You know,
Yeah.
I hope that both countries they feel accepted in. You know, if they ever decide to visit and see where the roots are.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, but yeah,
That's a worry.
yeah,
I have
it's
to.
it's a little bit of a worry,
Yeah.
but
Final words for our audience before we sign off with real estate.
just get started. Don't wait. If you can afford it, if you think the payment is comfortable, just go for it. I had a conversation with a friend recently, and he and I kind of came to this conclusion that Hawaii has never been cheap. Anybody you talk to out there, no matter how old or young they are, they will never tell you that Hawaii was ever cheap. Hawaii is doable. So just go out there and do it. Don't worry about what the interest rate is. You can always refinance. People refinance their rate like 2 to 3 times over that 30-year period. You know, don't worry about it. If you can afford that payment, and if it's not gonna just like put you into poverty, just do it. Buy it and then wait.
Well said, man. And since I don't have property yet, I'm looking at it as don't wait, but also have a plan. Like, have a talk to people, meet people like David, speak to your lender, and have a plan in
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, and if you guys ever need help making a plan, feel free to reach out to one of us. You know, that's what we're here for. It's to help guide you. We're not here to make a sale. It's really just to analyze your situation and make recommendations or suggestions on how you can have a better life and have more out of life too. You know,
That's awesome, man.
I think with that, that will conclude episode 6 of the Realtor Daddy podcast.
Peace out.
Peace out, guys.